Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome aboard the Stone Mountain Scenic Railroad. How's everyone doing this Friday night? Oh, come on, guys. I know you've had a long day of adventures and playing hard, but let's try this again. How's everyone doing tonight? There we go. That's what I like to hear. My name is Joey. If you're wondering where this mysterious voice coming through your speakers is coming from, I'm the gentleman standing all the way at the very back of the train waving at you guys. Can you guys give me a friendly wave hello? Awesome, that's what I like to see. Welcome aboard. We're going to have a great time. Before we get going too far down the track, though, I do have a couple safety rules to go over with you. Dun dun dun. Rule number 1 for your safety and the safety of those around you. Please remain seated at all times while the train is in motion. Again, now that the train is moving, please remain seated at all times. Rule number 2, for the safety of you and those around you, please keep all of your body parts and all personal belongings inside of the train car at all times. Also know that this train cannot and it will not stop to retrieve any item that is dropped from the train. And third and finally, for the health, safety, and comfort of all, smoking of any kind is strictly prohibited here on the Scenic Railroad and at the train depot. That's pretty simple, right? Just stay seated, stay inside, no smoking, and we'll enjoy our ride. Now, here on the train, we have a special way of saying, let's go. So on the count of 3, can I get your loudest and most enthusiastic? All aboard. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome job, guys. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the beauty and nature of Stone Mountain Park. You guys probably want to know a little bit about the train that we're riding on. The engine that was connected to our train was built in the 1950s. It weighs over 100 tons. The engine could travel up to 90 miles per hour. Who wants to crank it up to 90 right now? Yeah, let's do it! Oh, wait. We can't because of safety regulations. Plus, if we did go 90 miles an hour, guys, this trip would be over in only 3 minutes. And you'd miss out on all the beautiful sights that you're going to get to see around the mountain. There are actually 3 engines in the Rockline fleet, which you might get to see some of the other engines a little bit later as we go by the train shop. As we continue on, enjoy some of the pictures of our engines throughout the year. Fun Fact Friday, guys, it's Fun Fact Friday. Did you know that this train actually uses 7 gallons of diesel fuel for one trip around the mountain? Now, the trip around the mountain is just about 5 miles long. So those of you that are good at math, if you do the math quickly, that equates to us only getting about a half a mile to the gallon. Yeah, I definitely would not want to drive this train out on 285. Wouldn't get very far very fast and would use a whole lot of fuel. Anyways, here in just a minute, we're going to be coming up to the walk-up trail, so be sure to give a friendly wave to any trail goers that you see as we go by. Also be listening, you'll actually hear the train blow its horn in a very distinct pattern. It will blow its horn in a long, short, long pattern. Long, a short, and a long. Be listening. And it does that at each crossing to signal that we're about to cross a walkway or a road. If you're interested in going up the mountain, there are actually two ways up the mountain. The first is via our walk-up trail. The walk-up trail is exactly what it sounds like, a trail where you walk up the mountain. The trip takes anywhere between 30 and 60 minutes to get to the top. If you're like me, you might want to pack a lunch and make it a nice 3-hour tour. Your other option to get to the top is via our sky ride, which unfortunately was closed today due to high winds. Hopefully it'll be open tomorrow, the wind should lighten up. But that trip takes about 3 minutes to get to the top of the mountain. Now up here on the right, we're going to be passing by Confederate Hall, and there you'll be able to visit an interactive geological exhibit which tells a little bit about the science behind the mountain. Like, did you know that Stone Mountain isn't a mountain at all? Yeah, conspiracy, that's right. It actually was called a Monadnock, or a large hill outcropping. You see, a long time ago, about 8 to 10 miles below the Earth's surface, there was a body of magma that cooled, and over time, erosion and weathering uncovered the cooled magma, which is what we now see today as Stone Mountain, or maybe I should say Stone Monadnock. Now, if you guys haven't taken the walk-up trail, I definitely encourage you to do it, because on a nice clear day like today, you're going to get a great view of Atlanta, and sometimes even during the winter or fall, when it's not too hazy, you can see all the way to the northeast Georgia mountain, 60 miles away. So it's a pretty impressive view from the top. Now, the walk-up trail isn't our only trail that we have here at Stone Mountain. Actually, here over our right shoulder is where our Nature Garden Trail is, which is a nice little walk through the woods that allows you to explore some of the various plant species located here throughout the mountain. And then we also have our famous Cherokee Trail, which is a 5-mile trail. It's our longest of our trails, and that goes around the mountain and also around part of Stone Mountain and Venable Lake. So if you like hiking, you definitely came to the right place. Not quite true. You see, back in the early 17 and 1800s, before settlers even landed on the mountain, on the continent actually, there were explorers that came to the mountain. The first European explorers were led by a man named Juan Pardo in 1567. And Juan Pardo came to what was called Crystal Mountain because he thought there were diamonds in the mountain. So what he did is he filled up his ship and he took what he thought were diamonds back to the Queen of Spain, only to be ridiculed by the Queen of Spain for not knowing the difference between diamonds and the quartz that is found all throughout Stone Mountain. Talk about embarrassing. Still, Crystal Mountain was a pretty neat discovery. Settlers used the mountain as a landmark and a meeting place. In 1822, Stone Mountain was finally declared a part of DeKalb County, and around that time, the name Stone Mountain also started to stick. Now, a little while later, people actually started to get stuck on the rock. But we'll talk about that here in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, you're going to have a great view of the mountain. Now, what you are are looking at here on the left is actually the largest piece of exposed granite in the world. There is more than 20 billion cubic feet of granite above the Earth's surface, and that's only about 10% of the entire granite of Stone Mountain. The other 90% goes about 8 to 10 miles down into the ground and throughout the surrounding counties here in the Atlanta area. That is a lot of rock. You know, when people ask me what my favorite rock group is, you want to know what I tell them? Granite, because I live in Stone Mountain. Stuck on the mountain. Have any of you heard of a man named Elias Newer? Alright, well let me tell you a little bit about Elias Newer. He was known as part daredevil, part stuntman, and part acrobat. He performed daredevil stunts on the mountain like driving down the steep side of the mountain or sending cars and trucks off the top of the mountain to crash down below. That would be quite the show. Now he also rescued 36 people and several dogs who had fallen or become trapped on the mountain. He performed his very first rescue at the young age of 13. In addition to those heroic feats, he did those daredevil stunts. In a weird twist of events, he was actually named the safety supervisor of Stone Mountain. One of his first contributions was to build a safety fence around the top of the mountain that is still there today. If you travel up the walking trail, you might see the old man of the mountain's name carved into the rock, so be on the lookout. Unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 79 in 1993, but we will always fondly remember our old man of the mountain. Has drawn people for thousands of years, but in 1996 it drew droves of people when it hosted the archery, tennis, and track cycling events during the Summer Olympics. Now, Stone Mountain Park continues to draw millions of people each and every year from near and far, with its breathtaking views and acres upon acres of natural beauty. So whether you're hiking, camping, or just going out on the lake, the opportunities will go on and on. And well, with so many paths to choose from, I'm sure that you'll find just the right adventure. about this fictional town you're about to see. This town was once called Buzzard Hollow. And I say it was a town, but that's not quite accurate. You see, the buildings that you're going to see in this area were all actually used by the quarry companies. The large building on the right is currently the train shop, but at one time contained jail cells for use by the quarry companies. If you look closely, you'll still see the bars on the windows. Now, if you guys rode the train back in the 1970s, you might have remembered seeing an old cowboy and Indian shootout being portrayed, with some of the cowboys and Indians coming out of these buildings. That isn't actually accurate for this area. Now, up ahead, the smaller stone building on the left that you're going to see, that was actually the quarry foreman's building. You're wondering, what in the world does that mean? Basically, it was the building where they would hold different social events and gatherings throughout the year. Many of these other buildings that you see have been built in more recent times, and they are now used for different seasonal shows that we have throughout the year. Last summer we had a comedy western show back here, and of course you can always catch during Stone Mountain Christmas a family favorite show called The Gift. We'll be passing by the quarry here in just a minute. You're going to see two green enclosed train cars. Let me tell you a little bit about those cars. Both of those cars actually came to us from the Long Island Railroad. They were both built in the 1950s, and they each measure 83 feet in length. They are now used during some of our peak holiday seasons, such as 4th of July weekend and Stone Mountain Christmas. Stone Mountain granite can be found all over the world. Let me give you some examples of where you can find the granite from Stone Mountain. The base of the Lincoln Memorial is made of Stone Mountain granite. The locks on the Panama Canal are Stone Mountain granite. The Imperial Hotel in Japan proudly states that its granite came from where? Stone Mountain, Georgia, that's right. Now we're about to go over a bridge, but if you were to walk under the bridge, you would go to the quarry exhibit, and back there they actually have a plaque that tells you where you can find Stone Mountain granite in all 50 states. It's pretty neat. Tracks around the mountain do not connect to any tracks outside of the park, so we'll continue trekking along our dirt path. little bit about Stone Mountain itself. The mountain is 825 feet tall, and it covers 583 acres. The top of the mountain measures 1,683 feet above sea level. Football field. To put it in perspective, the carving measures 90 feet tall by 190 feet wide, and it goes 42 feet deep into the mountain. But the deepest point of the carving is actually at Lee's elbow, which pushes an additional 12 feet into the mountain surface. From left to right, you'll see Confederate President Jefferson Davis, General Robert E. Lee, and Lieutenant General Thomas Stonewall Jackson. They're each riding on their favorite horse. Davis is on Blackjack, Lee is on Traveler, and Stonewall Jackson is riding along on Little Sorrel. And well, it looks like we're about to ride our way right back into the train depot. Unfortunately, our final destination. Please remain seated until the train has pulled in and it comes to a full and complete stop. Once the train has stopped, I'll be making my way down to open up the exit gates for you, signaling that it is safe for you to exit the train. For your safety, please only allow a conductor to do this and do not open the exit gates on your own. All passengers must exit at the depot. As you exit, please gather all of your personal belongings, take small children by the hand, hold on to the yellow handrails on your way down the stairs, and watch that last step. If you enjoyed your ride, I'm sure the engineers would love to hear about it. So as you exit the train, take a left and head all the way down to the engine. They'd love to greet you and take pictures with you. To help keep our train clean, please dispose of any trash in the trash can located at the front of each train car. And on behalf of myself and the rest of the train crew, I'd like to say it's been a pleasure having you guys ride with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening here at Stone Mountain Park. Again, please remain seated until the train has pulled in and it comes to a complete stop, and a conductor has come to open up your gate for you. Thank you.